Hi everybody, welcome to High Voltage. My name is Lasha Rayanko and we're getting right into it. Ask Not, The Kennedys and the Women They Destroyed by Maureen Callahan. This book, Canadian, it's a hardcover. It was approximately $40 odd. And do you know that Jack Kennedy was philandering around with a spy? I don't know if these men were taking steroids or what was wrong with them, but we're leaving off. The last video I did, I had half a Caesar and I was smoking a blunto because it was a beautiful day and I wanted to enjoy it, and I am picking up exactly where we left off. The last place where we left off was when John and his friend decided to take, yes, I have a little marijuana stick. Remember him and his friend Matt Berman, his business partner, they wanted to do a course on how to start a magazine, and the teachers or the instructors in this course were just absolutely appalled by the intellectual ability his mother had and how inept he was academically. Now, I would imagine being in a dynasty like that, where you're totally scrutinized, is something that you and I would not even be able to relate to. So this book is relatable in terms of S.A., R.P. However, the politics, when I think about this, and based on what I've read, it was the inner workings of the CIA, the FBI, that knew his trip to Dallas the day that he passed on. And that video clip stays etched in your mind. Another movie that is absolutely fantastic, talking about who actually did the quote unquote, it was not Lee Harvey Oswald. Absolutely no. The movies to watch, there's hundreds of them. I'm 53 years old, my mother's 75. I can't believe people don't remember All in the Family. At any rate, let's get started. All right. By an ill-thought-out rent-a-dog scheme inspired by people who support or tried to stop John all the time when he was walking his own dog. Remember this part? Surely there would be a market, right? It took Mark Berman, his business partner, to explain. John, he said, they're probably not stopping because of your dog. Remember that part? He knew that. How could he not have? That's a little contempt in my face. I'd love somebody to study my body language. I really would. John and Matt, remember they enrolled in the 2-day course, How to Start Your Own Magazine, and how it was just so unclear. But no one, not his mother, not his longtime friend, John Wennett, the founder and editor-in-chief, Rolling Stone magazine, and certainly not Carolyn, could talk him out of it. At his mother's request, her best her friend, Joe Armstrong, a former ABC News executive and magazine publisher, tried to offer John advice. Go slow, Joe said. Keep your plans to yourself, learn the answer to every possible question, and you could get a pitch in the meeting. Well, John sailed into those meetings without due diligence and met headwinds he'd never experienced or expected. One executive could not believe John's gall in asking for a $20 million investment without being able to answer the most basic stuff, such as, and this is where we left off the last time, who is the magazine's audience? What was the brand identity? Who would John hire to write? What stories would the magazine break? Who would make the ideal profile subjects? Why would their as yet unnamed magazine be successful when political magazines, by definition, were small and lucky to break even? How would they attract advertisers once, let's face it, the novelty of being associated with JFK Jr. wore off? Carolyn also knew too well that the novelty was wearing off. Now, remember this part, this is where I did leave off the last time. Carolyn knew too well all about the novelty wearing off. John was like Seinfeld's bubble boy, so coddled and spoiled that he didn't know what he sounded like to others. He could be prickly and didn't know how impatient he was, and something of a brat, really. John didn't live in the real world and never had. He'd lived on planet Kennedy, and this is when my last video, I did it live, and it's under the playlist, and they're all in order. And Planet Kennedy, where he was king, and his main experience was feedback loop of awe at his looks, his lineage, his fame, his politeness. And then I said, oh, he's the king of the dynasty of the Kennedys, and then we've got the dynasty of the royal family, and then we've got the dynasty of, I'm pretty sure the Maxwell funds haven't dissipated. I'm telling you, there's probably about 8 families per country that own everybody. All right. Now, she is not unforgiving with this book, but as my mission statement states, welcoming, respecting aspects of all people's societies. So who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? The thing about books is you read them and you let people interpret it. And then at the end, you have a discussion. All right. His main experience, and if you're reading along, it looks like it goes to page 8 and then to page 7. So I'm on page 7, if you're following along. And it's still on the Carolyn Bessette. His main experience was feedback loop of, looks. He's so down to earth, give him a gold star. That was the line on John. From waitresses to movie stars, paparazzi to presidents. But he was not down to earth, not really. Anyone who knew him behind closed doors knew that. Even his close friend, Steve Gillen, an eminent historian, gave up trying to educate John on the realities of the Vietnam War and his father's backroom decision to escalate troop levels rather than, as post-assassination myth had it, end American involvement. Gillen, this is John's friend, taught John, who previously failed a Vietnam seminar at Brown, Still, Gillen was shocked when John informed him that he, as the president's son, knew more about war. The day after a tepid debate that saw Gillen sat down, John informed his former professor that one of his father's prime Vietnam advisors, his Secretary of Defense, has weighed in. Quote, I talked to Bob McNamara, MC Nam-ara, last night. John said, quote, and he said, you are completely wrong. Gillen let it slide. What was the point? John didn't know what he didn't know and was sure, as thought out his life, that others would take care of the details. So what if he was planning a political magazine devoid of a political point of view that he thought would be his strength? His mother, Jackie Kennedy Onasis, his mother herself, now a book editor, was doubtful. John, Jackie asked, is it going to be the Mad magazine of politics? By which she meant, are people going to laugh at it? At you? John was never shown the slightest interest in the magazine business before Jackie told the journalist, Ed Klein, quote, and he has no experience in journalism. But her skepticism was John's fuel. No one doubted Jackie's intellect, or her sister Carolyn's intellect, and certainly not his father's. Why would he be taken as seriously? Carolyn had tried to tell him, if that's what you want, treat other people and things with respect you crave. Now, like I'm talking, let me finish this. But her skepticism was John's fuel. No one doubted Jackie's intellect or Carolyn's father's. Okay, but John's habit of being careless with his own things and those of others was his defining character trait. Responsibilities were for others, not for him. He rode around the city on his bicycle, or I would rather say cycling, never locked it up. He spent thousands of dollars replacing bike after bike after bike, like Lance Armstrong. When it came to his public image, however, John was nowhere near as thoughtless. He was always in the tabloids with his shirt off, running out of the surf, or playing football in Central Park, displaying his perfectly sculpted body. The truth was that John was a terrible athlete, totally uncoordinated, but he looked the part. At the gym, he'd strip off the towel after showering and slowly, pointedly examine his genitals. Okay, why don't you just take a mirror and just, Anyway, no one would have believed that kind, humble, gorgeous John Kennedy had a habit of looking at his genitals, and then it says, and putting other people in danger. Most often his close friends, girlfriends, speeding, swimming too far out in the ocean, diving recklessly onto sidewalks, or while high on pot, skiing in weather conditions, acting like an expert in all sports when really he was an amateur. There was little John wouldn't dare to do. Oh, I believe that. And he bullied almost everyone in his life to be as wild as he was. This is the son of JFK and Camelot. Thank God for Maureen Callahan. and Megyn Kelly. He nearly killed his first serious girlfriend, Christina. I didn't know this. At least 3 times. John had met her in high school. Christina was part of the social set, yet she was mesmerized by John's mother, by the 1040 Fifth Avenue, by the gravitational pull this awkward yet beautiful boy exerted, and the unbelievable notion that he had chosen her. His emotional lability, it's not liability, it's lability, added an exquisite tension to their romance. You know, look at the way my eyes just went so big like that. Maybe they're not as small as I think. At any rate, John's moods could darken instantaneously, without warning. Don't talk to my mother. Why would you walk with me in torrential rain? Called her Mrs. Onasis. My ex means nothing to me. Her? She's just some stupid actress. Is he talking about Daryl Hannah? They were a thing for a while. Do you remember Daryl Hannah, Splash, Tom Hanks? You have to be over 50 to truly understand the myths that we were sold and the propaganda machine that we were sold. John's, okay, darken. She's some stupid actress. I've been bossed around by too many women. If you won't ski with me, we'll have to break up. When I die, I want it to be sudden, fast, boom. Okay. Wow. Don't talk to my mother. Why won't you walk with me in torrential rain? Call her Miss Onasis. My ex means nothing to me. Her? She's just some actress. I've been based around by too many women. He's talking, when I die, I want it to be sudden, fast, boom. Really? Easter of 1986, John's Aunt Lee had invited them to Acapulco, Mexico. However, John had another idea, roughing it in Jamaica and kayaking in the open sea. That sounds just as smart as John McCandless from the movie Into the Wild. Have you ever read the book about John McCandless's life? And he went into, it doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with this book, but it's that same kind of risk junkie. It gives people a high, so I've heard. Listen to this. Easter 1986. John's Aunt Lee had invited them to Acapulco, but John had another idea, roughing it in Jamaica and kayaking in the open sea. John knew nothing about kayaking in the open sea, neither did Christina. And this first idea terrified her. Okay? She had badly broken her foot in February, and after a 6-hour operation, his cousin Anthony by her bedside all night, John sending flowers, but otherwise unable to tear himself away from whatever he was doing. Her doctor had warned her, nothing extreme, a shower, a bath, a gentle swim in a pool. Doctor's orders. Well, we all know that doctors aren't right nowadays, but back then, their word was gospel. So, even Jackie had tried to encourage Christina not to go. She told her about hurting her ankle years back when she was engaged to Jack and playing touch football, trying to fit in with those rambunctious Kennedys. That was the last time Jackie said. That was the last time, Jackie said. Even Jackie had tried to encourage Christina not to go. She told her, okay, but as John's way, he pushed and pushed Christina till he got what he wanted, and off to Jamaica they went. It sounds like my husband I caved into, and off with my money he went. Chris, if you're watching, you know it's true. Boy, you know it's true. Okay. And then suddenly, a rogue wave. Oh, what did he do? Sure enough, before they knew it, John and Christina were swept out at the sea because he went surfing. What an idiot. What an idiot. Their kayak was about to split apart. John had forgotten to pack his life jackets and spray skirts that would keep water out of the kayak. Has anybody kayaked? It is not easy. You have to be in very, very, very good condition to kayak. This is what we're reading, everybody. I think this is what I'm going to do. So there's no misunderstandings. That's the book we're reading. Ask not the Kennedys and the women they destroyed. And here we go. All right, so he had his broken, wait, where was I? Oh, I read a lot more than I thought. Not bad, Lasha, not bad. Okay. Okay, and then suddenly a rogue wave, I'd call it, doesn't matter what I would call it. I would change the verbiage in the book a little bit, to be honest. After we read each chapter, I'll talk a little bit about the psychology and what I think, but we have to remember it's a different time back then. It doesn't mean if you're younger you won't understand. It doesn't mean if you're, it doesn't matter. The point is that, you know, it is always the victors that write about history, but they don't tell the full story about what's going on. Okay, so there was so much for the fearless John Kennedy. The weird thing was the look in his eyes, like he was turned on dying, getting that close to it. This is from his girlfriend. No wonder, like he almost killed her in a kayak. They were pushed underwater. Christina sat in shock while John paced and muttered aloud to himself, "Don't tell Mummy. Don't tell Mummy." Who is he, Prince Andrew? Oh, don't tell Mummy. Don't tell Mummy. Oh, Mummy. Jeez. And then, okay. The weird thing, the look in his eyes. You know how people used to say, my eyes, he's gone or she's gone, they've lost it? Okay. Anyways, almost smashing into a 49-foot long whale in Baja, or kayaking straight toward the Stratton Island ferry, or swimming far out into the ocean, way past shore, hadn't stopped him. If anything, they electrified him. Oh yeah, he was a speed junkie. Okay, 24 minutes. I thought an hour, but you know what? I think 30 minutes is a good chunk. And this, let me just finish this one page. If he wanted to keep risking his life, but why was he so insistent? There's Sophie. Wait, I have to show you this. She came downstairs while I was doing my reading. Hi, baby girl. Look. Hi, Sophie. Say hi to everybody. Hello. Look at you. Look at you. Are you my friend? I love you so much. Mommy's almost done, and then I'm going to go get you a bonbon. Okay, lie down, Conus. Lie down. Lie down, Con. Oh, tobobbins. Oh, tobobbins. Okay. Because Trevor's live is at 9:07. I just want to finish this last page, and then we're getting more and more and more closer and closer to Jackie and Marilyn. Oh, why am I holding it like that? Sorry. Okay. Why did he have to pressure other people into going along with his crazy, peer pressure? Christina was a house cat. What? Oh, a girl who loved books and the theater. She was not she was no athlete. Is that the way people really write now? She wasn't athletic. That's what I would have said. Athleticism wasn't her strong point, but the strong point she has were X, Y, Z. That's what I would have wanted to know. Not just, she's no athlete. That sounds, sorry, Maureen, but that language is not, it sounds, why is bad language and the language, the English language and literature turning into like, oh my God, like? Anyways, she tried after all. There were she tried after all. There were any number of girls, a lot of them famous and glamorous and sexy, and more beautiful than she. How could somebody say that, more beautiful than she? Who defines what beauty is? That's how trained we are from mainstream media. We were indoctrinated into society. I can tell you, when I came into this world, I knew what was wrong and right before church. And I liked church. Yeah. At any rate, after that near miss and their crash landing on the beach, Christina refused to get back in the kayak. She and John had come upon a group of fishermen who had offered to take them to the mainland the next morning to share their food for dinner. Christina, for a moment, allowed herself to calm down. It would be okay. This is what women do all the time, especially from my generation. Always trying to make excuses for people. No, John said. They would kayak back that night. Christina was near tears. John was stubborn enough to go without her and leave her alone with strange men. Page 11. If you're reading this book, I'm going to take snapshots of what I have read already and put it on the community page tomorrow, because Trevor's going live at 9:07. But take a snapshot. Take a snapshot. Tell me what your thoughts are. And tomorrow we'll start with, after Christina was near to tears, John was stubborn enough to go without her and leave her alone with strange men. So tomorrow is the 8th of August of 2024. I need to get a leg up on this book for a reason you'll very quickly understand. Page 11. If you have this book and you want to follow along, let's do it. And I think after we get to Mimi, oh, this is a good one. Once we get through this, then let's have a discussion. Until then, I'm going to take a picture of every page I've read so you have the notes to follow along. And then we can form opinions, because if I talk through this whole book, no. All right, so this is where we're starting tomorrow. And I intend to be down here at like 9 a.m. All right? Also, look. Oops. I wish I had made this. I got them from the library when I went to get Becoming for Trevor and the book about the gentleman who survived Auschwitz. So at any rate, ask not the Kennedys and the women they destroyed, right back there, written by Maureen Callahan. And this is how far we are through yet. And I figure, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. I bet you we'll have this book done in 2 weeks. If you like the book part of the club, go to the book part of the club. If you like the singing, go to the singing. If you like the dancing, go to the dance playlist. I'm trying to tidy up this channel. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed and stuck with. And that is a wrap, welcoming, respecting aspects of all people's societies, even these people. This is very sad. It's actually quite sad. And I don't think anybody should be that indignant or self-righteous. You don't know what psychological damage people go through. That's what I want to find out. But as Megyn Kelly would say, stuff your feelings down. Which sometimes she's right. All right, that's a wrap. Take care of yourselves. You know that I love you. I care about all of you. But most of all, truly and truly, I respect every single person. Even the people that think I'm boring and talk too slow and all of those things. Voltage, voltage. Oh, let's do an outro. Do you ever notice that people have their YouTube channels set up and there's a total theme and a total, like they have an intro and outro, their sponsors, they have their routine. I don't. Everything I do is impromptu. All right, ready? Oh wait, let's try this. Actually, ask not, but why should we not? I won't forget it either. No, that's terrible. Ready? Thank you for joining. It means so much to me and the Kennedys. Oh, they destroyed so many, but this is a victory. The truth always comes out in the end, and don't try to pretend. No, no, no. That was awful, but I tried. It was impromptu. No, 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 no. Honestly, take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Okay, thanks a lot.